Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Xeracon and I am back once again. Today we have a very special unboxing video, and also later on I'll most likely give some impressions, but here's an unboxing of the Hori wireless pad for the Steam, for Steam as it says. This is the Steam controller version 2, you might say, that has been licensed by licensed for Steam and stuff, and so there's like an official controller. It's been a while since we've had a Steam controller, and this unfortunately is only available in Japan. I got this imported through a service called Japan Express. It originally was White Rabbit Express, and I actually used them a long time ago for a couple things. One of them for the Bayonetta 1 and 2 Nonstop Climax Edition for the Switch in Japan. But went back, they changed, and I used their service, and actually it came in pretty quickly. I'll say so. If you are interested in getting something imported from Japan, consider giving them a shot. Yeah. So here's the controller. I got it in Midnight Black, and we'll just go ahead and get this open here, and we can take a look at all the goodies in it. Yep. So here we go. Now that we have the wrapping undone, you can see the box here. So you've got the controller. You've got some of the aspects of it, especially with being able to use like X inputs or direct input, I believe. Also changing if you want the triggers to be analog or digital, and then just like a whole lot of gyro support, and then other aspects as well. And unfortunately, where I'm holding the camera right now, or at least the way the camera's set up, unfortunately, I can't really see some of the phrasing here. Even though I can't read everything, I can't try translating some of this. So, yeah, I'll have to take a look at this later. But yeah, you got a good idea of that. That's for how to open this here. Okay. There we go. And it is somewhat reminiscent to me of the original Steam controller box, so that's pretty cool. All right, we got ourselves a nice good instruction guide here. Comes with the controller, obviously, USB cable, Bluetooth dongle, and instruction booklet, which I'll definitely have to take a look at this later since it's in Japanese. I can't just translate on the fly like that. So, oh man, this is pretty stuck in here. All right, so yeah, so here we have the control. Now, wow, right off the bat, I'll say this is very light, very light. And also, let me just to show comparison for size. Here is the original Steam controller right here. And actually, I will say that the original controller feels a whole lot, or not a whole lot, but it definitely feels a little heavier than the new one, I'll say. And also, it feels kind of hollow in a sense, and almost, I guess, to the point where it feels kind of cheap. Because normally, if you have a good controller, it'll have a little heft to it. It'll feel like it's got substance in there, but this one, unfortunately, just off the bat, I mean, granted, who knows how it actually plays, but just like holding it, it's very light and noticeably so. But also, just to give more comparison, let's see how it feels. Like see the size next to, say, the Steam Deck itself. So you see there, we've got, let me move this over some. Got the original controller, the new controller, and the Steam Deck. So, it's a little about as wide as the screen. Granted, this is the OLED version, and the screen is larger for this one. But, yeah. Now, oh, wait. Now, one thing I noticed here, at least, there's a bit of a concave in the thumbsticks, whereas with the original one, it's convex. It might matter to you, it might not matter to you. But for me, this one, actually, I don't really care about this. I more so care about how the sticks feel themselves when you move them. Let me see actually how that feels. Okay, yeah, so they're pretty generic. I mean, not generic, but they're pretty standard stuff. Nice, good click to them. It feels maybe a little looser than other controllers I've used before. Like, it's definitely a whole lot looser, I can tell, than the original Steam controller. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever had. I mean, like, it does feel like it freely moves and it's not a big deal, but it's, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I would prefer it to be a little bit tighter. Um, Buttons, though, for the most part. Oh, there's a nice little button here. I at least felt like there was a button. I felt something happen, but maybe it's just my imagination. Oh, nope. And I guess those are some other controls. I'll have to see what they are. And of course, we have the paddles in the back here, and you can adjust right on the fly if you want your sticks to be. Oh wait, I wonder if that actually changes how it feels. Let me see. Okay, maybe it doesn't. I was wondering. Yeah, it probably just impacts how when you actually play. Because at first I was wondering if you change between the analog and digital for the triggers, if it made a difference. Whoops. Oh dear. Wait a minute. Sorry about that. But yeah. So I was wondering if it made a difference if you had if you switched it between analog and digital for the triggers, but it doesn't really seem to make a difference. Probably is more so just when you're playing the game, which fair enough, I guess. But I guess for some people who probably would have preferred that, it would have been nice. But I guess that probably would have made things more expensive for manufacturing. So I can understand why they didn't do that. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Well, I mean, of course, there's something else in here. We already said that with the instructions. So of course, here's the dongle. Yeah, it's not large. I mean, it's definitely smaller, I'd say, than the original dongle for the first Steam controller. And yeah, got a nice cable here, and this is, I'll have to see what it's like when I unravel it, but judging by what it looks like here, and actually, how long is this supposed to be again? It does not say, does it? Where is this thing here? It says it is, well, no, I was expecting something like to say it's like, I don't know, 1.5 meters, something like that, some sort of idea about how long it is, but no dice, I fear. Let's see, actually look at this here. Yeah, I unfortunately, oh no, here we go. 3.5 meters. Okay, yeah, so that's about the length of the of the charger cable for the Steam Deck OLED, and also for the dock as well that comes with it. So this is a very good length here. Oh yeah, definitely. When I'm unraveling this thing now, I definitely see how long this is, and you're gonna get good length with this. So if you were to say use it wired, and say you wanted to, if you had a PC hooked up to a TV, you could probably, depending on how far away, say, your sofa, couch, chair, or whatever is from the TV, you could probably play this wired all the way from your chair or couch or whatever to your TV. So that's definitely great. Yeah, so unless I see something else in here, in the instruction manual, like, let me just quickly check and see and make sure I'm not missing anything. And interesting, yeah, so I see there's, like, on the back here, there's a Steam mode and a wired only mode. So X input, I believe, is only for wired, and Steam mode is for using it wirelessly. And here's, like, the one reason why I even wanted to get this in the first place, apart from the fact that it is sort of a, well, I don't want to say novelty, but it's because of the branding. Not because of the branding, or partially because of it, but I wanted to get a controller that sort of has the layout of an Xbox controller that actually works under Linux, because my PlayStation, my DualSense controller works under Linux. My Nintendo Switch Pro controller works under Linux. Although, granted, lately, unfortunately, the thumbsticks have been the joysticks have been getting a little bit of a drift to them, which is very sad considering the fact that no other Nintendo controller I've had has ever suffered that before, and the Switch Pro controllers were not supposed to have that issue. But I wanted something in that form factor that would work on our Linux, and I've tried multiple times, to get my Xbox controller to work in Linux, but it will not work. So having this is going to be a major boon for me. So yeah, I believe I'm going to try this out, and I will give my impressions later. So see you then. Before I share my thoughts, I want to quickly mention that on Tuesday, the Horipad went up for pre-order on Amazon. I wish this happened sooner, or that we knew about this ahead of time, but at least it's not too long after the Japanese release. But on to my impressions. I want to make a note that this is all based upon my use case in Linux. The technical issues that I had might not apply if you're using the controller on Windows, especially if you use the app for the controller. But the first thing I want to point out is how the controller feels when you're actually using it. When I was fiddling around with it during the unboxing, I couldn't truly tell how it would feel when I would be playing a game and not focusing on the controller. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a letdown in that aspect. The controller feels like things are shifted up. It's a bit hard to explain, but I had to have my hands as far up the grips as I could, so reaching all the buttons would be as normal as any other controller. However, the start and select buttons, or whatever these companies call them these days, are above the wireless connection and quick access buttons, so you have to move your thumbs higher than what it feels like you should be doing. And while I didn't make this mistake, I wouldn't be surprised if someone accidentally hit the other buttons because that's what they were expecting when they were trying to hit start or select. For most of all the other buttons, they were fine. I will say that the shoulder buttons are massively better than the original Steam controller. The old one had clicky buttons that sounded like they came off a mouse, but the Horipad ones feel so much better, so props there. Unfortunately, the triggers are the worst ones I've ever used. To start, the controller clicks before any other input is registered, which is weird because if there's any click in a trigger, it's after you've pressed the trigger down all the way. It's feedback that you've gone as far as you can go. The GameCube controller did it this way. The original Steam controller did it this way. I'm not sure why Hori changed it for this. Additionally, the triggers on this controller don't have a whole lot of range, so that makes it harder to gauge pressure. I would have preferred if Hori had either provided the range that the DualSense or Xbox controllers provide, because those have great ranges, or just had the click go at the end of the input, not at the beginning. Now, as far as testing went, I tried to do it both wired and wirelessly. Unfortunately, I could only get the controller to work wirelessly. While it was technically recognized as a generic Xbox controller, which is a point I'll come back to in a little bit, it would not work at all. Also, while it might help to use the dongle for the initial connection, it's not necessarily required after the controller is paired. I tried connecting it over standard Bluetooth and it worked. The only downside that I experienced, which I think is the case if I translated the instructions correctly, is that gyro is only supported in wired mode, which sucked because I really wanted to test out that feature. I don't really make use of paddle controls in games, but it's pretty straightforward to get those customized in Steam, so have fun with that. Now, here's the one thing that really amazed me with the Horipad. As I said earlier, when I tried connecting it wired, it was registered as a generic Xbox controller. Morbid curiosity caught hold of me, and I decided to plug in my Xbox controller once more. Lo and behold, for the first time ever for me, it was recognized by my computer, both wired and over Bluetooth. So, while it might just be a coincidence, I can't deny that my Xbox controller didn't work in Linux until now. So, thank you, Hori. But that being said, would I recommend the Steam Horipad even barring the technical aspects? Sadly, I can't. The form and layout of the controller feels different compared with other controllers, and the triggers are the worst offenders in that aspect. With the Horipad retailing for $60, you'd be better off getting an Xbox controller. Heck, if you went to gyro, you could spend an extra $15 and get a DualSense. But I see no reason to get this unless you're some Valve enthusiast who purchases everything with their logo on it. But that will do it for today. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, I appreciate it. I apologize if I sound funny during the latter part of this video. I was ill over the weekend and I'm still recovering from that. So until next time everyone, I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one.